Hey guys, Thomas from Team Soccer also here, come at you with some amazing news. We have just got the Sunflower archetype revealed in Secret Slayers, and it's pretty awesome. Throughout this video, by the way, I want you to keep in the back of your head that Lone Fire tributes, because tributing, like I speculated in my last video, is a big part of this deck. So keep that in the back of your head, and if you guys want to read any of these cards, check the description below. I will have a link to where I got this information. And if you guys can leave a like and subscribe and follow my Twitter, that would be awesome. It will be in the description. Anyway, getting into it, the first card here is Snowflower Petal. Now, this is a great card. It's a level 1, and basically, during your main phase, you can take one Sunflower card and add to your hand or Foolish Burial it. So the fact that I could do both is really, really good. But you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for plant-type monsters, so that's what it locks you into. However, during your opponent's end phase, if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are plants, and this card's in your graveyard, you special summon it. And so that's pretty good. You're going to get this basically every single turn. And these cards have a lot of stuff to do at the end phase. So then we also have Sunflower Sprite Prim. Now, basically what this card does is if a monster you control is tributed, you special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Tribute Lone Fire. Special this card from your hand. So, boom. You can target up to 2 plant-type monsters you control and increase their level by 2. Not up to 2, it's by 2. So you have to do 2 until the end of this turn. So that's really good that it has level manipulation, because plants have a lot of good cards, especially synchros. Like you have, this might be a little weird, but Queen of Thorns. And I feel like this is a very good card, actually. And that you can basically make Queen of Thorns kind of consistently in this deck, just at the end phase, so your opponent has to pay life points in order to summon 1,000 per summon. So it was just something I thought of while reading this, by the way, so you guys might want to pick up a copy of that if you feel like it. And this is not the only level manipulation card as well, and it's only until the end of turn. So this is a very good card as well. It's level 4, pretty good booty too, 1800 defense. And then you have Sunflower Sprite Sealan. You tribute this card from your hand or field, then target up to 2 plant monsters you control, decrease their levels by 2 until the end of turn. So, again, manipulating levels. And during that phase, if this card's in your graveyard because it was tributed and sent there this turn, you just could special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. The level 1 does not have that. You could just keep special summoning the same copy over and over, by the way. Then, Sunflower Sprite Peony. Basically is, you could tribute 1 plant monster, special summon this card from your hand, and, you know, when you tribute it, your other effects are going to proc. And if this card is normal summoned or special summoned by a plant monster's effect, basically its own, you could add 1 Sunflower Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. And these are the Sunflower Spell or Traps. We're not there yet, but one of them is basically a Widow Anchor, along with the spells and traps have an effect and then an optional effect if you tribute a plant type monster, which is really cool. But we'll get there in a second. And then we have some big levels in order for you to make your XYZ, you know, Snowdrop. And that is Sunflower Sprite Erica, which is the level 6 with 2400 attack, 1000 defense. And basically when an attack is declared involving another of your plant monsters, you tribute this card from hand or field. Battling monster gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. It would have been cool if it was like doubled or like an honest, but you know what? It's fine. It's something, you know, it's like a Kalute basically. But if a plant type monster you control is tributed while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. So what you can do is after you attack with this, and you overlay and make all your stuff, if you use the fact to tribute, you can special it and then use it for something, or just leave it on the field to tribute in order for something to gain 1000 attack during your opponent's turn if you feel like if they try to attack something. So that's kind of cute. So it's not too bad. It's like a Kalute that kind of recurs. And then they have Rakasa Snowdrop. By the way, the artwork for this is amazing. And I'm sorry if I'm speeding through this, but there's a lot of cards to cover. So, yeah. But it's Snowflower Sprite. Wow, okay, I'm going to call it Sprite. I like that. You contribute 1 plant monster, special summon this card, and 1 other plant monster from your hand. But you cannot special summon monsters for the turn except for plant-type monsters. Now, this is really good. Also, it's a level 8. But you can target 1 plant-type monster you control. The levels of all plant monsters you control become the target's level until the end of this turn. So in order for you to make the Snowdrop, basically you can manipulate your levels, and as long as you can manipulate 1 card to be a level 8, and you have this card, you basically got it. Also, it special summons Lone Fire, so from your hand if you have it, so that's cute. You can target 1 plant monster, So, and then you have a card, Snowflower Sprite, which is When your opponent activates a monster effect that targets a monster you control, if you control a Sunflower monster, you contribute this card from your hand or field, negate the effect. It doesn't negate and destroy, so it's like, and has a target, so it's like, whatever. But if the card's in graveyard, you contribute a plant monster, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this one's like mediocre, honestly. I'm not really too excited for this one. And then obviously you have, you know, the boss XYZ that I covered in another video, which will be in the description, so you guys could check that out. Now we got for the spells and traps. Now, very quickly, like I said, they have effects and then they have optional effects if you tribute a plant. So you have Stunning Snowflower, which has stunning artwork, honestly. You can only activate this once per turn, basically, but you add a Sunflower monster from your deck to your hand, right? So it's generic Rhoda, already good enough. However, if you activate this card by tributing a monster, you can add one plant monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the first monster, but the same original level. So, depending on what you have on the field, along with this deck has a lot of the same level monsters, you basically you're tributing something and you could add 2 cards. So that's really, really good. If you get ashed, it really does suck, however, so I don't see Call by Grave being a big thing in this deck, actually. Definitely a 3 of, because you lose to ash quite hard, so just something I want to add. So, and then you have Swirling Sunflowers, which is if a Snowflower monster you control is tributed, you can make your opponent tribute one monster they control, their choice. However, that's a once per turn. Well, but since you're tributing, you're going to be tributing on your opponent's turn and your turn. Basically, you'll be forcing your opponent to tribute, which is kind of nice because if they make Avermax on you, which is a very difficult card to out, you can really only out with certain things. You basically can kaiju away anything, in a sense, as long as you do it consistently enough. And that's pretty cool. So, until you obviously they get the choice, but if you can force them to only have one monster they have to tribute, then they don't really have a choice. So which is good. But once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, if you control a face-up non-plant monster, you destroy this card. So that kind of sucks. It's a bit of a drawback. So if you're making some other cool stuff, you know. They really want this to be specific with plants. I can already tell that. They don't want you to mix anything in it. But then you have the trap card, which is, you can only have to take this once per turn, which is a beautiful card, by the way. You special summon one Snowflower monster from your graveyard in defense position. So basically, it's not exactly, it's like a Call by Haunted, but it's actually like an Oasis. I believe Oasis of Dragon Souls, I'm not sure what it's called, but there's or like a Back to the Front would be a better example. Right, so that's cool, but if you tribute a plant, activate this card, you can special summon one plant monster from your graveyard in defense position. Right, so you're basically getting 2 specials from the grave instead of 1. So that's kind of cool. So you're kind of just +1ing there, so that's kind of nice, and then you'll get their effects. So, kind of nice. And then you have Snowflower Sheet. And when I read this card, I thought the archetype was great. And then I read this card, and I was like, wow. Now this is what we needed. This makes the deck very viable. I see this being at least a tier 2 deck. I can see it doing stuff. You can have a lot of fun with it. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its effects cannot be activated on the field for the rest of this turn. So, you basically get an interrupt, right? That's great. However, if you tribute a plant-type monster to activate this card, you take control of that monster until the end phase. And if you do, it becomes a plant-type monster. So basically what you get to do is you activate this, you tribute something, you get their monster so they can't link it away, none of that. You basically Widow Anchored it. And that's good. That's great. That's fantastic. So, yeah. So far, I'm seeing this deck actually doing a lot more stuff. And it's about time a waifu deck does this much, because I look at Witchcrafters, I look at Dragon Trash, and it doesn't do anything for me. So, sorry for the long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be building this day 1. I don't care if the prices are a lot of money, because number 1, I can afford it now, and number 2, the deck does something. When I saw Dragon Maids being extremely inflated and not doing anything, I was like, nope, I do not want to play this. So, with that being said, guys, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe, and what I want to know is, are you guys going to pick this up when it drops? Are you interested in this? What do you guys think of the cards as well? What's your favorite card? And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.